What shall we do? What shall we do with the body? What shall we do with the body in the house? Should we leave it where it is? Should we throw it away? Or should we throw it in the forest? Should we hide it? Should we bury it? The people stood outside, murmuring among themselves. Well, they all knew that dead bodies were taken and thrown in the forest. So why were they just standing there, murmuring? Why were they hesitating? Why could they not come up to a mutual agreement? And whose body was in the hut either way? The body inside the small hut belonged to a woman called Syokimau. Syokimau was born in Iveti Hills, which is near present-day Machakos town. Nobody knows who her mother is, or her father for that matter, or her relatives, not even her clan or her kinsmen. In fact, rumor has it that she was not born of a woman, no, that she simply sprung from a tree. From a young age, Syokimau was possessed by maimo, benevolent spirits. And when they came over her, she would shake and shiver, and she could tell things that nobody else could understand, see things that no one else could see. And as she grew, the spirits within her, the maimo, became stronger and stronger, and she would grow to be a well-known medicine woman. Well respected, not just by her community, but even beyond. And Syokimau, her herbs were known to cure all kinds of illnesses. But she was not just a medicine woman, no. She was also a prophetess. And so accurate were her predictions that the community and the leaders and the elders took to consulting her about different aspects of life within the community. For example, Syokimau could foretell how a war was going to be, whether they were going to win or not. And before any war happened, Syokimau would talk to the elders, and the elders would bring the warriors to the Idembo, to an evergreen tree that acted as a shrine. And there, Syokimau would offer a sacrifice and prayers to the ancestors. And then she would bless the bows, she would bless the arrows, she would bless each and every warrior in turn. And this would ensure success wherever they went. Syokimau could also foretell when the warriors would be defeated. And in such an instance, she would talk to the elders and tell them not to call for war. One day, as Syokimau was sitting on her maumbo, her three-legged stool, and people were all around her. Oh, they loved listening to Syokimau tell her stories, and they were sharing a meal of mudokoi. When all of a sudden, she began to scream. I see them! They're coming! They're coming! And the people looked at each other with questions in their eyes. Who was coming? Could it have been the Akavi, the Maasai, The Kamba community thought the Maasai to be the greatest enemies, and they knew if there was an unexpected raid by the Maasai, it would mean widespread death and loss of cattle by the whole community. But Syokimau was in her own world, and she continued to say, "Oh, I see people with a funny skin. Red. Their skin is red as if it has been peeled off. Their skin looks like it has been burnt by porridge." The people were even now more scared. "Who are these people? Who are they?" they asked with loud voices. And Syokimau continued, "Oh, these people, they are worse than your worst enemies. Oh, they will steal your land and they will steal your wealth. They will force you to work in their plantations. They will destroy your shrines and they will force you to worship their gods. They will oppress you with your own people, yes. They will divide you and they will rule you. They will beat you mercilessly. They will even kill you." And then, just as suddenly as she had begun talking, Syokimau was silent, and she soon fell into a deep sleep, leaving the people with more questions than answers. The next morning, Syokimau woke up full of energy, and she sat on her three-legged stool and sipped on some porridge that had been given to her when her eyes stared far into the distance. "Listen," she said, "listen, and I will tell you. Oh, those people will be friends of fire. And they will have fire. They'll have fire in their pockets. They'll have fire in their mouth. And they will have fire in their hands." "Oh, they will travel on smoking cows." These words from Syokimau sounded strange and far-fetched in the people's ears. But they knew that all of her previous prophecies had come to life, and this made them quite uncomfortable. And even as they went along on their day-to-day activities, the unease and the fear of the unknown became stronger and stronger every day. A week later, Syokimau became possessed again. She began shaking feverishly. "I see a snake! The snake! There is a snake!" she said, and the people began running away from the hut, thinking there was a snake inside there. But even as they ran, Syokimau's shrill voice followed them on their heels. "Oh, the snake! The snake is coming! It is a long snake. It goes from water to water. The snake's mouth spits fire. The snake's mouth spits smoke. Oh, its mouth eats people from one side and vomits them from the other." Syokimau explains. Well, all these three prophecies came to pass when Kenya was under British rule as a British colony. A terrible 43 years for everyone on the lands. The colonialists came and stole land from the native Kenyans. They forced each and every house to pay a hard tax to them. And indeed, when they came, they were friends with fire. For they came with fire in their pockets, and they came with fire in their hands, carrying matchboxes and smoking their cigarettes. And just like Syokimau had said, Indeed, they came riding on smoking cows, cars that produced smoke as they went along. And in their hands, they carried fire. They carried guns that spread fear and death everywhere they went. The third prophecy came to pass when the British began constructing the railway line in 1896. Yes, they wanted to link Mombasa on one side and Port Florence, now called Kisumu, because now Kenya and Uganda as we know them was under their rule. And just like Syokimau had prophesied, the snake, the iron snake, the train, linked one water body, the Indian Ocean, to another water body, Lake Victoria in Kisumu. But there is one prophecy that Syokimau did. How well known, actually, to date. And it is still unfolding. Not then, but now. And not just here in our country, Kenya, but throughout the world. Before she died, Syokimau said, "Look, I see a generation coming. A generation that speaks like birds. A generation that will disrespect the elders and their parents. Children who will not fear taboos or follow our traditions. And these children, oh, they will have their own wisdom and they will surprise you. For they will even build houses on top of each other." And this prophecy is unfolding. And we can see it clearly as it happens. I mean, how many times have our elders complained that the young people are disrespectful, yeah? And that they do not fear taboos, and that they are breaking traditions all over. And indeed, the skyscrapers and the storied apartments coming all over are the evidence that Syokimau was talking about. Houses built on top of each other. Syokimau's death was surrounded by so many supernatural occurrences. One day, the villagers woke up to find that Syokimau was dead. She was no more. The people could not believe it. How come she had not prophesied of her own death? And they were so confused and wondered what they were going to do. And they sat down and they agreed to leave the body in the hut, thinking that maybe something good might happen out of it. But after waiting for a while, and nothing was happening, and the body began to rot, they carried out the required rituals and threw the body into the forest. 2 days later, loud crying was heard coming from the same spot where the corpse had been disposed of. The people rushed there, only to see a woman, Syokimau herself, praying and shouting loudly. Oh, of course they were really scared, and they watched from a distance. When Syokimau saw them and saw the fear in their eyes, she turned to them and said, "It is me. I am not dead. I am alive." Some say that Syokimau died and came back to life not once, but 2 different times. And they say that when she came back, She never discussed about her death experiences. And of course, nobody dared to question her about it. One morning, the people woke up and found that Syokimau was no more. Yes, she was dead for the third time. However, unlike the previous two instances, this time round, Syokimau had died with her face looking up to the sky, her mouth wide open. And this was quite a rare occurrence, and it was interpreted to mean that the soul had left Syokimau when she was having a conversation with the ancestors. This time round, she had left a specific wish, that her body should be buried at a specific place, at a specific hill between stones. And this place has grown to a place to reckon with, for it is said, it is tried, it is proven that when you come to that hill and you pour water, the water does not go downhill as is the norm, but instead the water climbs up the hill. So it was after Syokimau's death, and so it is to this very day. Syokimau inspired so many different people. Among them, another prophetess among the Akamba people, Syonguowa Kaducha. And Syonguowa Kaducha, although she came many decades later, would be so impressed with Syokimau's work that she would name a territory in her region after Syokimau. Present-day Syokimau is a fast-growing residential area in Machakos County. And in this same place, you will find the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport nearby. And you will also find the Syokimau railway station. Take a walk inside the station and you will see a statue of Syokimau herself, a reminder to both residents and visitors alike of one hero of Kenya's past. They say that prophets are not celebrated in their hometowns. But I think it's time that we as Kenyans change that, and that we should sing and shout about our heroes from the tallest of rooftops.